From the streets to the rings, from rats to kings. That was the promise of two brothers, the dream. But while one lived the dream, the other lived the nightmare. While one experienced glory and love, the other endured hatred and oblivion. In their ring, no secrets remain, and the two brothers turned enemies must confront the lies of the past. Hello and welcome to Films and Series Recap. Today, we will be watching a film from 2023 titled Creed 3. I hope you enjoy it. The movie begins in 2002 in the luxurious neighborhoods of Los Angeles. A young teenager, Adonis Creed, sneaks out to join a car. In the car is his best friend, Damian. Both grew up in the same foster home, being orphans, and take care of each other. Adonis now lives in the upscale neighborhoods of Los Angeles, taken in recently by his father's wife, whom he never got to know. However, he continues to see Damian, whom he considers a big brother and shares a passion for boxing. Adonis, having learned that his father was Apollo Creed, one of the greatest boxers in history, who died before his birth, is on their way to a private boxing showcase where Damian will fight. Damian is a promising young amateur boxer, and Adonis is his only corner man. Despite the luxury of the place, the two young men are placed in a small back room. Adonis shows an extraordinary ability to analyze boxing and gives Damian the strategy to defeat his opponent. As they prepare for the fight, Adonis discovers a gun in Damian's bag. The fight time comes, and Damian, an extraordinary boxer, manages to knock out his opponent in the first round in front of a crowd of amazed professionals. They're euphoric and have stars in their eyes. Damian dreams of turning professional, having a successful boxing career, winning the world championship title, and most importantly, escaping poverty for both him and Adonis. At this moment, he feels that he is finally reaching his dream. While stopping at a grocery store, Adonis recognizes a man named Leon. Seeing him, he becomes enraged and attacks him. Leon's friends intervene and attack Adonis. 18 years later, Adonis is a successful man living in a luxurious house in the Hollywood Hills with his wife, Bianca, and his daughter, Amara. He had a successful boxing career and was even crowned world champion before retiring 3 years ago. Adonis now has his own gym and manages the careers of promising boxers. He is about to organize the match of the year between his protege, Felix Chavez, the current world champion, and Victor Drago, his former rival. One day, returning home, he finds a man who looks like a homeless person leaning on his car. To his surprise, it's Damian, whom he hasn't seen in 18 years, since the night of the assault. During all those years, Damian was in prison and has just been released. Having spent half of his life incarcerated, and having no one else, he has come to see his friend. Damian is happy to see his friend again, but Adonis is uncomfortable. Adonis invites him to dinner, and we catch a glimpse of the psychological scars that prison has caused Damian. Damian is not comfortable in the crowd. Adonis is surprised to learn that, during all these years, Damian wrote to him, even though he never received anything. He seems to feel guilty and avoids looking into his old brother's eyes. He offers to help him financially get back on his feet, but Damian refuses. He only wishes for one thing: to compete for the World Boxing Championship title. At 36, most boxers are already retired, but Adonis, feeling guilty, agrees to let him access the boxing gym. Returning home, Adonis relives the last evening with Damian. At home, he encounters his mother, but avoids confronting her about Damian after she has extremely fragile health. But in the name of Damian, she reacts. At the boxing gym, Damian is diligent and trains like a beast. Adonis finds him a role as a sparring partner for his protege, Felix Chavez. Later, Adonis invites Damian to meet his family. The evening goes well, and Damian, gentle and friendly, integrates well. But as Damian recalls their youth, the poor neighborhoods, the juvenile detention centers, and foster families, we see that Adonis has chosen to bury this part of his life that even his wife does not know. Damian also finds an echo in Bianca's situation, a woman suffering from a disability that is making her increasingly deaf, forcing her to give up her singing career. just like Damian had to abandon his dreams. In private, Damian insists on his desire to compete for the World Championship title. He is aware of his age and knows that his best years are behind him. Adonis cannot grant his request. Competing for the World Championship title is not an easy task, and Damian is not even a professional boxer. This frustrates Damian, and the next day during a training match against Felix, the two fighters end up fighting. Back home, despite his calm and warm public demeanor, a great rage begins to emerge. Later, at a party organized by Bianca, she finds Damian still uncomfortable with the outside world. She asks him to tell her more about her husband's hidden childhood, which seems to haunt him. Damian knows it's not his role, but he tells her a name, Leon. As they talk, a brawl breaks out between Drago and an individual who takes a weapon and breaks Drago's hand. The match between Drago and Chavez is cancelled. Adonis and his team must now find a new fighter. Adonis takes the opportunity to put Damian's name forward and convinces Felix to fight, reminding him of the story between his own father, the former champion, and someone from nowhere named Rocky Balboa, who made history. The day of the fight arrives. Felix is the clear favorite. Adonis visits his friend in the locker rooms. Just like in their childhood, there are few staff, and only Adonis is there to encourage him. Adonis encourages him, but there are unspoken tensions. Damian enters the ring, amid boos from the crowd. Very different from the cheers Felix received. Adonis is torn between encouraging Damian or his protege. The fight begins. Despite Damian defending well, Chavez quickly takes the upper hand. He is younger, faster, and more aggressive. He starts using low blows, attacking his shoulder, under the arm, and cutting him under the eye with his elbow. The fight now feels like a brawl, extremely violent. Chavez's corner refuses to stop the fight, despite the advice of Adonis's team. Damian has not lost his strategy and talent, intentionally injuring Chavez in advance and finishing him under a series of blows. KO. Damian is the new world champion in a far from honorable fight. Watching from her TV, Adonis's adoptive mother can't take it anymore and pulls out a hidden box, then contacts her son. These are Damian's letters. She had intercepted all of them, wanting to cut him off from the world where he grew up, thinking that it was because of Damian that there was an attack on Leon. Adonis is shocked to learn this. The woman he considered his mother made him betray his own brother, left him alone for 18 years. She accepts his accusations but tells him that the child he grew up with has disappeared today and shows him a photo present in one of the letters. It contains a photo of Damian in prison, next to him, the person who attacked Drago. Adonis, shocked and furious, confronts Damian. Damian is at a party celebrating his title. Adonis accuses him of manipulating him to get his help, to make him a real boxer, of betraying him, and tells him to leave his life. Damian retorts that it is true. He needed his help, reminding him of his years in prison, alone, needing help upon his release to get back into the ring, needing help to access the competition, but he refuses Adonis to say that it's thanks to him that he is a boxer. He considers Adonis a coward who not only abandoned him but took away all his dreams and everything he deserved, and promises to come and take it all back. Adonis leaves, but a reflection from Damian about his habit of running away makes him confront him, who violently strikes him, sending him to the ground. Adonis gets up to fight, but he is surrounded by Damian's men and prefers to go home. Back home, Bianca sees his black eye and asks for explanations. Adonis refuses to open up and loses his temper in front of his daughter's eyes. Just like his mother, all he wants is to bury the past, but his wife and entourage feel that it is eating him up inside, and that it is time to confront it. He returns to the grocery store where it all started, and we see that Leon was his adoptive father and, during his childhood, physically abused him. Another piece of the puzzle about the night at the grocery store is revealed. After beating Leon, his friends jumped on Adonis and beat him. Only Damian's help allowed him to get out of it. They were adults, and there were many more of them. To help Damian, Adonis pulled out his gun. As he contemplates the ghosts of the past, Bianca calls him. His mother has had a stroke, and she won't recover. He rushes to her. On her deathbed, She explains that when she adopted him, he was a child full of anger, and she wanted to protect him from all that and give him a new path. But she ends up rambling and mistaking Adonis for his father Apollo. She confesses how proud she is of him, and that, thanks to him, she was able to forgive him and move on from his death. Shortly after, she dies. After the funeral, Adonis agrees to confide in Bianca. Damian's arrival brought his childhood traumas and shame to the surface. On the grocery store night, when he was a teenager, he encountered his former tormentor Leon and couldn't help but beat him. When Damian came to his aid against Leon and his friends, the police arrived, but as they were about to be taken away, Adonis fled, leaving Damian to his fate. Over the years, even though he didn't receive the letters, he chose to abandon him, to stop contacting him, to pretend that the past had never existed. Adonis feels guilty and responsible for Damian's life, feeling like an imposter today. Bianca reminds him that he cannot be judged for his choices when he was just a child, or for Damian's life choices, that everything he has built, he deserves. Damian won't stop, and encouraged by Bianca, he decides to make him understand in the only way he'll understand. Since his victory, Damian openly criticizes and insults Adonis. During a televised show, after an additional provocation from Damian, Adonis agrees to put on the gloves again and take up the challenge for the heavyweight world champion title. For several months, the two men train relentlessly. Both are mirrors of each other. Adonis has to put on the gloves again after 3 years of inactivity, injuries, tough training, intense boxing, upgrading. But driven by the past he wants to finally face and the desire to prove that he has earned every victory, he manages to get back in shape and be ready for the fight. Damian, on the other hand, has been named the new boxing king and presents an incredible fighting ability. The big day arrives, and the tension is palpable between the two giants. For 11 rounds, the two men exchange blows. The punches are personal for both men, and the title doesn't matter to them. One fights against the feeling of abandonment, and the other against the feeling of guilt. At the end of the 11th round, each in their corner, they see in each other the teenager they once knew. The gong rings, and the two men give it their all. The last round starts hard for Adonis, with a severe blow to the stomach. But after getting up more determined than ever, he takes control of the fight, showing greater talent, and eventually breaks through Damian's defense, knocking him out. KO. He regains his title, but more importantly, he has proven himself a true champion to the one who needed to see it. During the celebration with his friends, Adonis slips away and goes to see Damian. Damian respects the boxer he has become, and they end up forgiving each other. The film ends with Adonis and Amara, his daughter, teaching her some boxing moves, perhaps preparing for the next generation. The end. Feel free to subscribe, like, and recommend movies in the comments. Goodbye.